I'm Angela Brown, and I'm here today with Terry Tucker. Now, Terry is a motivational coach. He's a published author of a book called Sustainable Excellence, and it's 10 Principles to Leading Your Uncommon and Extraordinary Life. So please help me welcome Terry Tucker. Terry, how are you today?
I am great, Angela. Thanks for having me on. I'm really looking forward to talking with you.
Terry, if you will, give us some advice because I know you've motivated a lot of people and you have traveled the world now with your expertise and your global podcast and your book, and you've gone places you'll never physically go, but you've changed a lot of people's lives. Give us some advice on some of the steps that we can take if we are right now feeling trapped or paralyzed or feeling alone.
I have what I call my four truths. They're not mine. I don't own them or have them copyrighted or anything like that. But these are things that I've learned over these last 11 and a half years with cancer. And I have them on a post-it note here in my office. So I see them multiple times during the day. They constantly get reinforced in my mind. And the first one is, we'll go into a little bit deeper in a minute, but the first one is control your mind, or your mind is going to control you. The second one is embrace the pain and the difficulty that we all experience in life, and use that pain and difficulty to make you a stronger and more resilient individual. The third one I look at is kind of a legacy type of truth, and it's this: what you leave behind is what you weave in the hearts of other people. And then the fourth one I think is pretty self explanatory. It's as long as you don't quit, you can never be defeated. And I call these four truths sort of the bedrock of my soul. I just think they're a good place to try to start to build a quality life off of. So, if you don't mind, I'll tell you a story about each of them. So, when I was in college, I went to a military college in South Carolina. And one year we had a president by the name of James Stockdale. And Admiral Stockdale had been a prisoner of war for 8 years during the Vietnam War back in the 1960s and 70s. And I didn't spend a lot of time around Admiral Stockdale. He was the president of the college. I was a cadet. But I remember being at an event with him one time where somebody asked him, who were the people that survived that torture, that abuse, that brutality? And he said, let me tell you who didn't survive. He said, it wasn't the big, tough, strong guys that thought they could handle any amount of abuse or torture. And this one kind of surprised me when he said this. He said, the other group that didn't survive were the optimists. He said, these were the people that thought they would be rescued or let go by Thanksgiving or Christmas or Easter, and Thanksgiving and Christmas and Easter would come and go and they wouldn't be rescued. And he said, those people died of a broken heart. He said, the people that survived were the people who understood what they could control, which according to Stockdale was basically the thoughts in our minds and the breathing in our lungs. Everything else was at the discretion of the enemy, and controlled it. And Angela, I think that's where we all get in trouble, where we start to try to control things that are outside of our purview, that are outside of our control, that I have absolutely no ability to control. And that produces fear, that produces stress, that produces anxiety. So understand what Stockdale was saying. Figure out what you can control in your life and control that, and let the rest of this stuff go. Don't be worried about, I wish my son would do. You have no control over what your son would do. I wish my boss would. You have no control over what your boss can do. Control what you can control. And I think you'll have a whole lot less stress, and you'll be a whole lot happier in your life. So that's the first one. The second one, our brains are just hardwired to avoid pain and discomfort and to seek pleasure. And that's just evolution. That's the way we've been developed. So to the brain, the status quo, the way things are right now, hey, it's comfortable and familiar, and it should just be left alone. The problem with that is the only way we're going to grow, the only way we're going to improve, the only way we're going to get better is if we step outside those comfort zones and do things that make us uncomfortable. There was a Hall of Fame receiver for the San Francisco 49ers by the name of Jerry Rice. Rice had a quote that said, today I will do what others won't, so that tomorrow I can do what others can't. So back in 1976, it was our country's bicentennial celebration. It was also my 16th birthday. So now you all know how old I am. There was a gold medal winning US Olympic swimmer by the name of Shirley Babishoff who had one of the greatest yet simplest quotes I ever heard. And this is what she said: winners think about what they want to happen, losers think about what they don't want to happen. So winners can override their negative brains. And by the way, the Cleveland Clinic did a study. 80% of our thoughts are negative. So understand that it's not you. We all have those negative thoughts. So winners can override their negative brains and focus on the things they want to occur. Losers can't see the value of pursuing a goal or a dream. And as a result, they never start. They're the 33% that never get out of bed. So that's truth number two. Number three, as I said, is a legacy type of truth. And I think that's so important. Your life is for service. I think we all need to figure out where we are in our lives. At the end of your life, what do you want people to say about you? And if they're not saying that now, what can you do to change your life so that people will say something good? People will say something positive about you in your life. When I found out I had my leg was amputated, I found out these tumors in my lungs. I went with my wife to the mortuary and to the cemetery and to the church, and I planned my funeral. And because I do these talks and I'm on podcasts where I talk about motivation and the need to keep moving forward, I actually got some brushback from people who commented that somehow planning my funeral was in some way defeatist. And I had to remind these folks that the last time I checked, we're all going to die. As far as I know, nobody's working on a cure for life right now. Every one of us is going to die, but not every one of us is truly going to live. And I heard a Native American Blackfoot proverb years ago that I absolutely love, and it goes like this: when you were born, you cried, and the world rejoiced. Live your life in such a way so that when you die, the world cries and you rejoice. That's what I want. That's what I'm looking for. So that's truth number three. And then truth number four: as long as you don't quit, you can never be defeated. The way that resonates with me is this: someday my pain is going to end. It may end through surgery. It may end through some type of new treatment or medication that's developed. Quite frankly, it may end when I die. But if I quit, if I give up, if I give in to pain, then pain will always be a part of my life. And I'll end with this story. I have a friend who works with my wife who's a former Navy SEAL, some of the toughest men in the world. And the SEALs talk about what they call their 40% rule. And they say that basically, if you're done, if you're at the end of your rope, if you can't go on, you're only at 40% of your maximum. And you still have another 60% left in reserve to give to yourself. So the next time you don't think you can reach out to that friend who you've had a beef with, or you don't want to stay late at work to do whatever you need to do, or your disease is just causing you not to be motivated at all, remember, you've got 60% left in reserve to give to yourself.
I do want to highlight a couple of things. Yes, those four truths are on Terry's website. I want you guys all to get a copy of his book. This is absolutely amazing. It's called Sustainable Excellence. And it is a whole entire series of philosophies that are going to renovate and change your life, just like some of the things that we heard from Terry today. So, Terry, thank you so much for your time. Where can our listeners go to find you?
I have a blog slash website. It's called motivationalcheck.com. And you can leave me a note there, a message. I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
Thank you, Terry, so much for sending us off with this amazing message of hope and of wellness and of belief in ourselves and in the ability to leave a legacy and to help those that we also love. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela.